Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 2 books. One is a friends to lovers romance titled What Are Friends For, and the other one is a fake relationship romance titled Out of My League. You can find the links to both those books in the description box below. Welcome back to my channel. This is like a lot deeper on camera than it looked in real life. So today's video is a little bit different for me. I don't usually post like book related content so much, but you know what? I'm kind of just throwing that out the window for a little bit because I want to talk about my top 5 favorite books. Now these are like my Hall of Fame books. These are the books that I read when I was growing up and growing into my love of reading. So I read these books before I really fell in love with the craft of it. So these are oldies but goodies and books that I always find myself going back to. So hopefully it's kind of fun and a little bit interesting to see what I read back in the day. I'm gonna go from like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 1 is my favorite. I'm sure most of you know what it's going to be by now. I'm sure I've talked about it before. Before we hop into today's video, if you enjoy kind of like this book related content kind of stuff, be sure to like this video because it lets me know what you're looking for content wise. And don't forget to subscribe. So the first book that I always find myself going back to is Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. Very interesting. Very, very good. I would definitely say this was a 5-star read for me. Let's read the back cover. That's weird. Usually paperbacks have blurbs on the back cover. Anyway, it goes between Aria and Perry's point of view. It kind of goes back and forth and it's so interesting. Each point of view is gripping to me. I loved hearing from Perry's point of view and Aria's. And sometimes I have trouble getting into boy point of views. It's hard for me to really relate. But this book was so good. And it's been a while since I reread it, so I think a reread is in order. Let me see if I can find a blurb on Amazon. It's a trilogy as well, so there are 2 other books in this series. Fighting to survive in a ravaged world, a Deller and a Savage form an unlikely alliance. Exiled from her home, the enclosed city of Reverie, Aria knows her chances of surviving in the outer wasteland, known as the Death Shop, are slim. Then Aria meets an outsider named Perry. He's wild, a savage, and her only hope of staying alive. Ooh, so good. See, my problem is I want to talk about it, but I don't want to give any spoilers away. So I'm just going to say this was a good book. The next one that I really enjoy and I always go back to, it's kind of not like me anymore. I don't feel like I read a lot of this stuff anymore, but I used to read a ton of it. And it is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Now, I love this book. I love this entire series. I think this had Obsidian, Onyx, Opal, Origin, and then what was the last one called? Opposition? Yes. So good. So good. It is about an alien race coming to Earth and they're trying to live out their life, but our main character, Katie, comes across their path. Let's read the back cover blurb. Starting over sucks. When we moved to West Virginia right before my senior year, I'd pretty much resigned myself to thick accents, dodgy internet access, and a whole lot of boring. Until I spotted my hot neighbor with his looming height and eerie green eyes. Things were looking up. And then he opened his mouth. Now this is like the enemies to lovers, like for sure, and it's got aliens, and I just dig it. I dig the snarkiness of our main character. She's pretty like bitey, and I love that about main characters. And Damon is arrogant, infuriating, and stab-worthy, but it makes for a nice dynamic, and I really enjoy going back to the series once in a while, especially since there's so many books that I can read through, so. Number 2. Now, number 3 is actually a newer one that I just read maybe within this past year, but it definitely goes up on that Hall of Fame list for me, and it is The Winner's Curse. You guys, it is so good. I was blown away with how much I enjoyed this book. It had been a while since I read kind of the fantasy dystopian genre of things, but when I picked up this book, I immediately fell in love with how everything is so artfully woven together. It follows Kestrel and Aaron. I'll read the back cover because I feel like that will explain it much better than I do. They were never meant to be together. As a general's daughter, 17-year-old Kestrel enjoys an extravagant and privileged life. Aaron has nothing but the clothes on his back. Then Kestrel makes an impulsive decision that binds Aaron to her. Though they try to fight it, they can't help but fall in love. In order to be together, they must betray their people, but to be loyal to their countries, they must betray each other. Y'all. Now, I will say the back cover blurb makes it sound a little bit different. When I read then Kester makes an impulsive decision that binds Aaron to her, I was thinking like maybe magic, you know? But there is no magic in this world. So yes, this wouldn't be a fantasy. Did I say fantasy earlier? I didn't mean fantasy. I meant dystopian. So there's no magic in this world. But what she does is So I'm not sure if that's a spoiler or not. So I'm just not gonna include the audio in this clip. So yeah. Once we go deeper into the story, it's so interesting to see the back and forth because it does go from Kestrel's point of view and Aaron's point of view. Third person, their perspectives, you know? It is so beyond interesting in that since it's also a trilogy, it has 2 other books. And I'd say this one and the last one are my favorites. Oh my goodness. So another book that you guys should definitely pick up. Now these 2 books for the longest time were at war with each other. These last 2 books, they kept wanting to fight each other out for top spot. This one used to be my top #1 for years, and that is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I used to have a Tumblr blog dedicated to it. It's literally the Infernal Devices trilogy over on Tumblr, all dedicated to this series. This is the first book that I read that really got me into reading for sure. I read this in middle school. I remember staying up late on school nights binge reading it and being so upset the next morning when it was time to go to school. But if you guys don't know who Cassandra Clare is and what she writes about this world of demons and angels, and it's the Shadowhunters kind of thing. If you guys have heard about the Shadowhunters, this is part of those books. She has the Mortal Instruments, the Infernal Devices, the Dark Artifices, and she has a bunch of other side stories that kind of branch off this Shadowhunter world as well. But this one is by far my favorite. It is set in Victorian England. When I looked it up on Amazon, that's what Amazon categorized it as steampunk, which was kind of strange because I never thought of it like that before. But William Herndale, y'all, and James, oh my gosh, you guys, it is insane. Let's read the blurb, shall we? When Tessa Gray crosses the ocean to find her brother, her destination is England. The time is in the reign of Queen Victoria, and something terrifying is waiting for her in London's downworld, where vampires, warlocks, and other supernatural folk stalk the gaslit streets. Side note here, I read this book before I read The Mortal Instruments, so it was kind of hard to like dive into the downworld and get my head wrapped around that, but not impossible. So good. Oh, I also forgot there is also a series. What is that series called? Oh, I know what the first book's called. It's called Chain of Gold, but what is this series called? It's about the next generation from this book. That's all I'm saying. I was in love with it. I'm still in love with it. I go back and reread it all the time. Y'all, go to my Goodreads. Check out my review on it because Katie pointed it out to me the other day and I died laughing. Go read my review on it because it's hilarious. So the final book, my final favorite book, it is the top spot, and I think it's going to be top for a very, very, very long time, and that is Nevermoor by Kelly Cray. This is a paranormal romance. That's what Amazon classifies it as. And it's about a boy, Varen Nethers, and a girl, Isabel Langley, I think is what her last name is. If I'm wrong, I'm close. And Varen and Isabel are put together for a class project, and they decide to do their project on Edgar Allan Poe because Varen loves Edgar Allan Poe. But what Isabel doesn't know is that Edgar Allan Poe and Varen are kind of tied in the same world, the same dream world, that is. Cheerleader Isabel Langley, I was so close, is horrified when she is paired with Varen Nethers for an English project. Cold and aloof, sardonic and sharp-tongued, Varen makes it clear he'd rather not have anything to do with her either. But soon Isabel finds herself making excuses to be with Varen. Steadily pulled away from her friends and her possessive boyfriend, Isabel ventures deeper and deeper into the dream world where Varen has created through the pages of his notebook, a realm where the terrifying stories of Edgar Allan Poe come to life. This trilogy, you guys, messed me up. So I came into this trilogy when it was this book and book 2, and then I had to wait 2 years for the third one, and I was not even sure she was going to write the third one. I was really hoping she would, but there was kind of a lot of radio silence between the second and the third one, so I was really afraid like maybe the series would stop. And y'all, if she would have stopped at the second book, I would have lost my mind because the second book ends on such a cliffhanger. Literally, this is my absolute all-time favorite trilogy, and I think it's because of the dynamic between the cheerleader and the goth. I think that's really fun, and it's super fun to see Isabel dive down into Varen's kind of madness of his dream world, and watch all of that unravel that way. Haunting in a way. It'd be a great series to read for like the Halloween time, fall time, because that's actually when it's set. The last day of this book, I believe, is actually Halloween. So it would be a very good read if y'all wanted to check it out. I will leave all these books linked down below in case any of them sounded interesting to you, or if you want to go check them out. I definitely would recommend the last two if you haven't read the last two books, the last two series, especially Nevermoor. You guys, I can't recommend this book enough. But yes, so I hope you find this little video enjoyable. I want to do another video like this for my young adult romance reads. I have a few, so I think it could be fun if I made a video on that. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. So leave a like and comment down below if you'd be interested to see my top 5 romance books or anything else that's kind of like this. Somebody made the video suggestion to me a little while ago saying that they would love to see my preferences in books and everything, which I think is such a fun idea. So maybe I'll have to do some more book hauls or something like that. I think that could be really fun. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like. Click that subscribe button because I post writing related videos every Monday and Friday. We also host live streams every Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you don't want to miss any of that, right? Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.